Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I'm your host, Matt Tardio. Today's episode is being sponsored by Upwork. Look, Chicago is falling into complete and total chaos yet again. And it feels like just the other day I was sitting in here and I told you, you know what? You might not have to worry about it. Looks like the Chicago mayor, and it's actually Broadview. Broadview police want to take care of it. The mayor wants to take care of it. They're set up Jersey barricades. They did all sorts of stuff over there to try to fix this. And on the eve of the No Kings protest taking place in every major city across the United States of America, wouldn't you know it? We're having issues. We're having protesters show back up, and they're not peaceful. I'll show you some portions of a peaceful protest in Chicago because I think it's important to give you guys like the overall broad view. But I'm also going to show you what they're up to. You got agitators inside of the crowd. They're going over and causing more and more issues. I'm not okay with that. I don't think you guys are either. Now, before we get into today's show, when we start going over all of that, ladies and gentlemen, allow me for a second to give you some advice when it comes to business. At some point, as you're scaling up your business, you have to decide, how much time can I spend running all of these little different operations that I have going on? At some point, you have to start outsourcing. You might have to look for, talent. You might have to hire them. You might need people, freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. And you're going to want experts that you can rely on and you can trust. Well, I'm telling you right now, with more than 2 decades of experience with a simple and ambitious goal, which is to pioneer a better way of working, Upwork is here to come to the rescue. Companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and to find more flexibility in the way they staff projects and initiatives. By accessing a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web development, AI, design, admin support, marketing, and more. You can post a job on Upwork extremely easy. No cost to join. You can register, browse freelance profiles, and get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com. Make sure you guys get over there, check them on out, help out the channel, do you guys selves a favor if you guys are in that business. Now, here is what Chicago looked like last month outside the Broadview ICE facility. Well, I'm looking at one of your guys' comments that mentions a different creator saying that he's an idiot and he says that everything's peaceful. Well, I just want you to know that if you're calling him an idiot, maybe you should stop listening to him because he doesn't know what he's talking about. He proved it during wartime and he proved it everywhere else. So welcome on back, guys. Yep, this is what it looked like a month ago over in September in Chicago. And since then, we've seen them make various upgrades. They put in Jersey barricades, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now, this morning, all the independent reporters that are on the ground over there are showing violence. It looks like the protesters have disobeyed the curfew, pushed past the line where they were supposed to be at, and started challenging the police.
Who do you serve? Who do you protect? Who do you serve? Who do you protect? Out of the roadway, please. Stop pushing. Out of the roadway. Out of the roadway, please. Please go to the designated areas. Out of the roadway.
Now, I'm just going to mute this because there's only so much of this garbage I can take inside of my ears. It's just nothing but people that are just flat out noise pollution. But I want you guys to notice something that's different about this video than maybe some other major cities where they have ICE facilities. You know what you notice inside this video? It looks like we have state troopers, sheriffs, and a local police department that are all there dealing with the crowd. This isn't just federal agents. As a matter of fact, I don't see a single federal agent on the street out there trying to take care of these protesters. What's that mean? Well, that means that the state getting involved is likely allowing the feds to do their job freely-ish back over inside of the facility. So yes, there's a local cop right next to your trooper, and then I'm pretty sure I saw a sheriff's deputy mixed in there somewhere. Maybe I was wrong. But either way, you have multiple agencies from across the state that are actually taking place and actually protecting that facility. Now, it's not doing a very good job. They're obviously disobeying law enforcement. They're obviously violating the curfew. Law enforcement has to put their hands on them, and it's just keeping on. And they're chanting and cheering and acting like everything is just fine and dandy. Incog Faraday coming in, gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Greatly appreciate you, sir. Thank you very, very much. Now, that scene looks like it turned around and escalated just a tad bit further. I'm just going to pause it right here and ask you guys, does this seem like what other people are portraying this to be in the media? This is from Freedom News TV, was able to meet the person that actually shoots these videos, and absolutely amazing human being. Down there on the street, putting her life at risk, doing what she's got to do in order to get this done. Now, my question is, I trust this reporter that's down there on the ground. She literally just walks around and takes videos, and she doesn't interject. She doesn't intervene. She's just there taking videos. This is 100% documentation on exactly what's taking place there on the ground. Now, if the great area, right, or excuse me, the great state of Illinois is able to figure this out and knows, hey, guess what? We might need to bring sticks. We might need to push people back. We might need to actually enforce the law. How come we can't see this done in every other state? Now, I have to give Illinois just a tad bit of credit because they actually have their state law enforcement on the ground that's actually taking care of this. You can see the troopers that are out there. You can also see local PD that's out there. But again, it's erupting into violence. Now, what do you think this situation would be like had they not interjected at the time that they did? That whole street lined with Jersey barricades, everything else. I'm saying that they're going to end up shutting all this crap down. And wait till you see the new calls for freaking violence that Antifa is putting out for the No Kings protest coming up this weekend across the country. Oh man, I see the comment section over there where it says Portland police stood by. Excuse me. Let me see this comment right here. Paul. Portland useless police stood by while Tommy and others got assaulted and refused to arrest Antifa. Well, for those of you guys, and before we get back into well, that comment just kind of inspired me to bring this up. Allow me to show you what I just posted up over on my X account. You guys feel free to make this as famous as you want. I'm going to actually take this. You know what? I'll have to take it, copy it, and send it in there. So you guys can take it and share it all you want. For those of you guys that don't follow me on X, well, now you got a link that's going directly over to my profile. I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to drop it into the chat over here on the stream. And this is all I'm going to say about this today, which is exactly what I wrote in this post that I'm putting up on the screen. Here's a photo that goes along with it so that you guys can see it. This is suspect right here who's been detained by yours truly. Now, what I ended up putting down there for reading, and this is the only statement I'm going to make right now on this situation, but people seem to think that I am talking about having some sort of frivolous lawsuit with Portland. That's absolutely not the case. We're talking about not providing equal protection under the law, and here's why. One of the evenings I was there, federal officers were engaged in a foot pursuit with this suspect. I helped out and was able to detain him. Unknown to me, the feds had to retreat back into the ICE facility. Portland 911 had refused to dispatch officers to our location, even after we told them that we had detained the suspect, even after we told them he was fighting, even after we informed them that more Antifa were closing in and we were about to be assaulted, which eventually we were. The city failed to provide equal protection under the law, and now you got to ask yourself, why? Portland Police Bureau had officers 1 to 2 blocks away that night. Believe me, we have more videos, and we're waiting currently for the 911 call recording to come in, and you better believe that I'm going to end up releasing that video as well. So, as you guys hear and people bring up that Portland police literally idly stands by, now we actually have it on recording of them refusing to provide equal protection under the law. Pretty sure my friend even told them, and I'm going to have it confirmed once we get it, that we actually assisted the feds in detaining this individual. Now, I'm not going to release any more information on what exactly is going on here, but for the love of God, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please get your butts over there and share this information, because in my opinion, it is an absolute freaking travesty what ended up taking place on that evening, and they are going to end up paying the price very, very dearly. And you better believe the discovery process that ends up coming out of that is going to be pretty damn extensive. And I'm not going to stand idly by and allow this crap to happen. It's absolutely insane that that took place. And yet over here, you know, in Chicago at the Broadview ICE facility, we can clearly see local police doing their job. So the question is, why is it so difficult for them to do it inside of Portland? Why is all of that taking place? Yesterday, I ended up showing you guys a police officer that ended up getting arrested, not in Chicago, not in Portland. That was an illegal alien. He was here illegally. He overstayed his visa, and yet he was a law enforcement officer. Now you got to ask yourself, does Portland have officers on the police force who are not inside the United States legally? Now, that might seem so far-fetched to some of you, but I also know for a fact other municipalities that had, inside of Oregon, that had illegal aliens that were working for them in, we'll call them first responder jobs. And that's where I'm going to leave it, and that's where I'm going to drop it. And I think if the feds dug in really long and hard, they might actually discover that that same issue is taking place over inside of Portland. Now, one of the biggest things that I noticed through watching this entire video, well, I wouldn't say a biggest thing that I noticed from watching this entire video coming out of Chicago, is they actually arrested a guy with an accordion. I think this might be the first accordion arrest I've ever seen in my life, when they ended up grabbing that guy and throwing him on the ground. Where'd he go? Where's Accordion Man? Absolutely nuts. I don't know. I saw it inside the video and I was like, dude, there's no way. They arrested a guy with an accordion. Yep, there he is. Boom. Accordion guy ended up getting arrested. Let's see here. Let's go through some of these super chats and see what you guys are bringing up before I continue on with the Chicago madness. Sevens B-Man says, pants or no pants. Matt Tardio's a patriot. Love you, brother. Thank you, man. I'm always wearing something, I think. Chris Hincliffe says, kids getting spanked. Yeah, 100%. 3am Forge came in gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships, and he donated 10 Canadian doll hairs. And he says, I watched the last video from Angry Cops last night after the stream. Absolutely disgusting what the admin is doing there. It's absolutely disgusting on a lot of different levels. What, like, local and I mean like local authorities and local city council, like the mayor, the governor, all of that crap in these states, like what they are thinking absolutely blows my mind. Why they are embedded so deep with them is beyond me. Incog Faraday came in gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships as well. I want to keep you guys rolling it and go show you that it's not all violent over inside of Chicago. I think maybe they started off with a little bit of peace in their hearts, which again just erupts into violence. But here's some of your peace. Okay, so how did we go from that? It says protest areas, stay off the street. So look, they even have, and this is what blew my mind, they have a designated protest area set up for them over at the Broadview facility for people to stand there and cheer and do whatever the hell else they want. Stay out of the streets, don't block the streets, etc. But obviously, somehow that ended up spilling over into the streets. Now, I can only imagine, just based off of things that I've seen in the mob mentality, that it ended up spilling over into the streets. And now they are fighting back against the Illinois State Police. This video came out less than 30 minutes ago.
This is America right here.
Yeah, it's America, dum-dum. You know, a country filled with laws and things like that. Like, that's what America is. This is America. We have laws that you're supposed to abide by. Some of them say you can't block, like, streets. You're actually, you know, in a place that had a curfew that these people are violating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it didn't seem that they were really caring as long as they stayed off to the side of the street. But the moment they took to the street, that's when they mobilized and actually started doing their job, pushing them back. So again, here we have a great example of law enforcement actually doing their job. Now, if those state police officers were not there, what do we think would have happened? We would have had another siege on another facility here in the United States of America. And make no mistake about it, they're sieges. They're trying to block the places off. They're trying to make it so that they can't do their jobs. And none of these nut jobs that are out here on the street understand that by them doing that, they're shutting off the ability for these facilities to properly do their job, which includes interviews of of people that want to become U.S. citizens. Mad Army Vet says, thoughts on the Special Forces Sergeant First Class who attacked a K-9 officer near Carson. About time protesters getting the attention they need by Leos. I didn't hear about that. Now I've got to look into that one. Now I got to look into this SFNCO who ended up doing that. I'll look into that, man. I was unaware of that. I'll have to look into the situation. Obviously, if a Green Beret is doing something, I'll comment on it. I'll look into it, but I got to get the information first before I can do that.
Fascist arm of America. People protesting. Look at the glee in their eyes. Look at the smile. Look at the way. Watch him love hurting me. He wants to hurt me. He wants to crush my voice. He wants to hurt me.
He wants to hurt me. He wants to crush me. He wants to do these things. Well, let's take a look at what he's actually doing. He's doing none of those things. He's doing absolutely none of those things. He's simply enforcing the law and telling him to get back. If he wanted to hurt him, he'd take his baton and just whack the dude right over the freaking head and solve this problem quick, fast, and in a hurry. This is one of those situations where I definitely say more overwhelming violence up front ends up solving these problems. You see, if the state of Illinois would have actually done this months ago, when all of this crap actually kicked off, you wouldn't have so many people thinking that they're above the law and they can go out there and do whatever the heck they want. As a matter of fact, you'd probably have this whole thing crushed. So now what we've got to wait on is for them to actually continue to enforce the law, effect arrest, etc., until these people learn that they're not going to get away with this crap anymore. But they probably won't. They probably won't. They'll probably continue on doing what they do. These people are so ridiculous. You even have a woman in a clown nose that got arrested. Yep. So, I mean, it's Chicago. I don't even know what else to say about that. You want to see more nut jobs getting arrested? Here's how Clown Lady actually got in that position in the first place. Like, why? What are you, like, what is your goal? Like, if I had one question to ask these people, like, what is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? What do you think you're doing by disobeying the law and getting arrested? Wearing your silly little clown nose, your blue outfit with your virtue signaling keffiyeh and freaking mask tied to your hip. Like, what do you think you are accomplishing here? Besides wasting taxpayer money, like, quite literally, what do you think you're accomplishing? It's a clown outfit. It's a clown outfit for a reason. And you notice, and I couldn't help but notice this as I look around, that, and I'm you know what? I'm white, so I'm going to say it. Why is it that 99% of the people in these protests are nothing but a bunch of freaking white nut jobs that are standing out there just virtue signaling with their freaking white guilt, trying to figure out what the heck's going on? Do they actually believe deep down in their souls? Do they actually believe deep down in their souls that these people are being kidnapped? I mean, I've seen people describe being arrested by law enforcement as getting kidnapped. This is who's out there causing this anarchy and this freaking chaos. A bunch of like crazy freaking white women, a bunch of like extremely brainwashed people that have just bought into crap. Like, look at this. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, look at this freaking line of protesters when you go over there. Like, as we scrub through all of these videos, the people that go down, there's another one. There's another white guy. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, what the hell, man? I don't know if you've ever seen the videos where it's like, and here's another video of white people doing crazy stuff. But I mean, that's pretty much how I feel about this entire freaking situation. It's a bunch of people with white guilt. When I was in law enforcement, you know who gave me the most problems when it came to anything? It wasn't African Americans, very rarely Hispanics. It was drunk white women, or just white people in general, that are the ones that are screaming about atrocities and everything else. That's who's actually out there doing it. Here's another video. This one's being shared on Fox.
Peaceful protesters. Look at the glee in their eyes. Look at the smile. Look at the way. Watch him love hurting me. He wants to hurt me. He wants to crush my voice the wrong way.
This is America. This is the fascist police. D. Pensider says the clown outfit is appropriate attire for them. Yeah, I'd completely and totally agree with it. Brooke came in saying a lone female patriot was arrested last night in Portland after she maced Antifa protecting herself, and another did it to her and pushed her down. Dude, imagine that. Imagine that. And that is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes down to equal protection under the law and them failing to do it. It seems like they have a very good track record of arresting counter protesters out there who are being attacked. It's almost like they never learned how to properly investigate crimes and what was actually taking place. I wonder if they actually teach affirmative defense when you get certified to be a peace officer in the state of Oregon. I have no idea. It'd be a good question because it seems to me like they're not. And it also seems to me like they're not even empowered to investigate crimes as a whole. Sean Hughes here, but I'm willing to bet her answer would be that what she heard on the left-wing media, Trump. Sean, I have absolutely no idea what in the world you're talking about, to be perfectly honest with you. You seem, it seems a bit out there.
He wants to hurt me. Film him, Officer Hinojosa. He wants to hurt me. He wants to hurt us. I'm out of Chicago.
I'm just saying, White guilt, man. It's a thing. Incog Faraday, so many confused Karens. If people can bring up white privilege, I can bring up white guilt. These people are just filled with white guilt. That's the freaking problem. They've been listening to so much liberal crap. They're filled with white guilt, and they feel the need to have to go out there and virtue signal. So maybe the minority communities end up giving them some sort of a break. Fox McCloud, do the liberals that manage to stumble on this channel, these protests aren't helping. You're only annoying the normies. Fox nailed it. To the liberals that managed to stumble onto this channel, these protests aren't helping you, and you're only annoying the normies. Yeah, so all of the neurotypical people that exist in this world that haven't been affected with TDS and haven't been infected with like leftist propaganda and allowed that to like brain rot, we're going to call ourselves neurotypical. What the hell is wrong with the left? Like, seriously, serious question. What's wrong with them? They're claiming that the police force is fascist. They are claiming that everybody else is fascist. They're claiming that we're all Nazis. Now, the question is, if that's the case, why don't you use the legislative process, your elected officials, in order to effect change? Legally. Why do you feel the need to break the law, use violence in an attempt to silence other people? Pretty sure that's a fascist thing to do. Doc Tonic. Antifa is also active in Switzerland and have been vandalizing in Bern. Trump should call Antifa as an international terror group. They are an international terror group. I even said, was it last month or this month? What month is it now anyways? October. So last month when I was in Tel Aviv, yeah, 100%. Ended up seeing Antifa tags everywhere. I know that they've got another violent one over inside of Australia, and it's just going on. And I haven't even told you what they're planning on doing this weekend. NC Kelly 919 says, I'm proud to be a Republican, not a meltdown on parade while they screech and blow up costumes like a daycare gone insane. Exactly. With their clown noses and their big, furry, inflatable blow up costumes.
All right, we wanted to play out this just taking place a few moments ago outside of Broadview, Illinois, as protesters gathered there this morning outside of that ICE facility.
Thanks, Fox. Yeah, listen, you can hear the police giving them warnings, informing them to clear the roadway. Clearly, they're violating the law. These people don't care. So if they don't care and they're not like as they sit there, they violate the law and they end up giving these warnings. When are we just legitimately going to enforce it? Like, what is wrong with mass arrests? You know, if it was me and I ran this entire show right here, I wouldn't just create a skirmish line and push people back off the road from that skirmish line. I would actually encircle all of the people that continue to break the law. I would chuck tear gas into the middle of it, and then I would go in and I would start cuffing people. That is exactly what I would do. I would take these people, I would surround them with law enforcement officers. I'd punch a hole out, launch a freaking circle around them, tear gas the crap out of them, and put every single one of them in handcuffs, have a gigantic U-Haul truck show up and sit them all down on their butts and drive their butts to the jail. That would solve this problem so quick. They are too used to expecting the cops just to show up and push them back. And they know, you want to know my opinion here, look, all the crazy white people out there again and their white guilt. They know for a fact all they have to do is stand there and wait, and then follow the police directives when they end up getting pushed back. I watched it play out time and time and time again. And then they wait for the police to go the opposite direction. And as they go in the opposite direction, they get all motivated. And they're like, these are our streets. We own them. And they just want to sit there and yell at people. All right. Also start enforcing noise pollution and assault for these morons with megaphones out there. The morons with megaphones are doing it for a reason. Those things can absolutely blow out your eardrums and cause different types of damage and stuff like that to your body. Yet they allow them to do these things. Start actually enforcing the law. Start enforcing the law. It's pretty simple. It's not that difficult. And you don't even need to go out and pull some crazy statutes out of it. There's very simple ones that they could do in order to solve this entire problem. But if you want to restore peace and normalcy, guess what you got to do? You got to enforce the dang law. That's what you got to do. Now, here's a live stream. Let's just fast forward it.
And everybody else, especially because I fought for my country.
Oh, dear God. This was being live streamed not that long ago. And it's an entire 45-minute video, which obviously we're not going to play. But I did want to scrub through it and show you guys that it's not all chaos like those short little clips. You actually have a lot of stuff that's going on down there on the streets. Here you've got, looks like state law enforcement arrested 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 people, one nut job and a gas mask. Looks like they were able to take back control over the streets. This is Magno News, all right? You can see, right? They were able to take back control over the streets. Those Jersey barricades are acting as an actual barricade to keep people out. This is the facility down here towards the end of the road. You can see that the law enforcement has established a line where they've got their vehicles blocking the roadway in order to keep these dang roads clear. And what they're saying is people are allowed to protest. They can do everything else, but what they can't do, what they absolutely cannot do, is get out in the street, block these federal agents from doing their jobs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Loitering laws. Yeah, very good question. Well, if they're protesting, they're not exactly loitering now, are they? Then they're executing their First Amendment right. And that's where it kind of like goes in back and forth. What they can't do while they do it is they can't be trespassing. They can't be blocking sidewalks. They can't be doing things like that. Obviously, all the different ordinances apply. But how many times are you going to allow these people to continuously break the law? Because coming up this weekend is the No Kings protest. And I'm saying that for a reason. How many times are you going to allow them to violate the law? I want you guys to see something real quick. Nope, not that one. Where'd it go? There you go. No Kings protest. Calling all PNW anarchists and anti-fascists, October 18th, to revive a black bloc contingent and restore a diversity of tactics in PDX. That's Portland, for those of you that don't know. The No Kings March is meant to pacify the people. It is organized by feds with an interest in quelling meaningful and effective social uprising. So they believe that what they're doing is meaningful and effective social uprising. I'm about to show you some of these idiots that got arrested for trying to take down helicopters with lasers and what ended up happening. F their lib march. Let's show them what anti-fascism really looks like. The Antifa folks hate to be called liberals. This is something I discovered while I was out on the streets of Portland. They don't like being called liberals. They don't associate themselves with the liberals. They freaking hate it. They're probably also against Soros and everybody else, even though they might be funded by him. Who knows? JD says, have you seen yourself in Danny Mullen's vlog? No, I haven't checked Danny Mullen's stuff yet. I honestly don't care. I know I get quoted. I know I get shown all over the place. And it's just, okay, great. Thanks for the publicity. Thank you guys for sharing my work. I greatly appreciate it. Fox McCloud, again, to the liberals who took psychedelics and wound up on this channel. By you acting crazy, you were proving that Donald Trump was correct. Now, all of this stuff is proving that he's correct. This flyer right here, and by the way, I've got another one of an actual like QR code that they ended up hanging up on a pole asking people to donate out to help them. I went over and I checked it out. They had like $5,000 get donated. Maybe it's up further by now. I don't know. And I really don't care. Nor am I going to share the QR code because there's crazy lefties that are sitting here. But it's enough that you know that they're actually posting QR codes around the city, asking people to support their movement. And then they go in there and then they donate it. Now, the crazy thing is that you can also go see who actually donated to support these freaking nut jobs. And I hope they end up getting slapped with providing material and financial support to terror organizations. Wouldn't that just be nice? But yes, there it is right there. They're actually not even fun with it. Like, they're not okay with the No Kings protest. They call themselves anarchists and anti-fascists, and they're saying that it's an attempt to silence them. So they're actually standing up against it. Nonsense stuff. This feels like a psyop. Likely is black. Black bloc during the WTO riots and OWS that were instigating violence often turned out to be Leos doing it so they could bring the boot down. This is likely no different. This is what they're claiming. So what they're doing is they're calling for violence. They're calling for violent disruptions inside the No King protest. So this might actually blow your mind to think about. But what you can expect at some of these No King protests around the country is Antifa members infiltrating them and actually causing violence inside of there. They're looking for Leos. They're looking for law enforcement. They're looking for people that they can call feds. And they're going to want to commit violent acts of terror against those individuals, even though they're likely going to have no proof of it. They're also calling them leftist attempts and blah, 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 blah. You also have the possibility that these anarchists show up and actually Like, I don't even know how to say it, like cause a stampede, cause violence, like you could see shootings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all taking place at these No Kings protests. So if you plan on attending any of them this weekend, whether you're a journalist, whether you're going to protest, whether you're going to just look and see and observe and gather information for yourself, I want you guys to know that you run a risk of falling into violent attacks by frickin' anarchists, self-described anarchists, especially if you're in Portland, by the way. These anarchists will be there. They will show up. You will have issues. You will have problems. And people are going to lie to you and try to claim that it's instigators from one side or that you have right-wingers that have infilled and they're trying to pretend to be the lefties in order to cause violence. Nope. That's who it is. It's the same dang terror organization that I've been complaining about literally this entire time. And what's even worse is if you're in the PDX area, you don't count on the police at all to do anything except for arrest you if they discover you're on the right, because I think that's just basically how it's gone, at least in my experience and everything else that I've seen from being over there. So just be careful while you're out there. Just be absolutely careful while you're out there. It's disgusting. Now, if you live in Florida, the video that I'm about to put up takes place over inside of the UK. But if you're in Florida, actually, it might not be the UK, excuse me. But if you're in Florida, you can absolutely do this weekend.
Free, free Palestine! 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 Free, free. Free.
You guys need to see that again? You need to see that again? You need to see that again? I think you need to see that again. This is why you're not going to see this issue down inside Florida, because Floridians have the right to just drive through these nut jobs they're shutting off the street. Why? Because the exact same crap I saw when I was in Portland, where you had vehicles pull in, cars are getting assaulted, blah, 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 blah. They're doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah, let's see that speed bump video again, shall we?
Free Palestine! Free, 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 free.
I don't condone violence, but what I absolutely condone is self-defense. And every single time you see stuff like this happening and a vehicle approaches because these idiots shut down the road and you have no idea that they're going to be there, they get ticked off that you are trying to get to work, that you're trying to get to your children's school, that you're trying to get to the hospital, that you're trying to do any legal activity. But because you're not sitting there listening to them chant free, free Palestine and blocking off a road and killing your productive day of trying to get things done, they get all offended when things like this happen. Somebody says play it again. You guys just need to see that one more time. I get it. Okay, let me, do we need, you know what we need to do? We just need to put that in slow-mo for you guys. Let's just do that.
Free, free Palestine!
How is that? Did you guys like that slow motion recap of that dude getting freaking smashed by the car? I mean, does this make your day? Do I need to slow it down even further? Do we need to put it like a quarter speed? Boosh. Oh, this is the way, ladies and gentlemen. This is the way. That's not AI. This is just simply the way, and it needs to get done. They got stupid little tubes because they couldn't have enough people to fill up the road space to sit there and do it. Put it on repeat. Yeah, that's just honestly what needs to happen. I just need to take that little thing and just put it on a constant, like 5-minute repeat for people to just sit there and enjoy at various speeds with various music and various things in the background. I think it would actually serve them pretty good to have that. Yesterday, I showed you guys the, what was it? University of Oklahoma? I want to say it was University of Oklahoma. TPUSA was holding an event. Students were putting out signs, letting people know it was there. They were out there exercising their First Amendment rights on this college campus, and people didn't like it. They start ripping down TPUSA signs. Now, I don't normally agree with putting people on blast, but I do agree with putting people on blast who don't like you legitimately using your First Amendment or legitimately like restricting your rights. I am, like I said, a constitutionalist. As long as you are exercising your rights appropriately, I have no problem with you. The moment you think you're exercising your rights, but you start impeding on the rights of others, you're not. That's the difference. That's where it's going to stop. And we're going to take a look at some idiots from Oklahoma that thought they could do that.
Hey. Oh, shoot. Excuse me? Why are you touching our signs? Why do you think you can touch our signs?
This is what they do. Of course it is.
We got you on video, by the way.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
dude, maybe don't follow people.
No, you think you guys can touch our signs?
You got plenty more.
Okay, no, that's our personal property and our freedom of speech. You have no right to touch our signs.
Okay, but why are you following people and filming this?
Nope, you guys have ruined our sign, ripped it out of the ground.
What are you talking about?
No,
To be
but
fair,
you.
I did throw one of their signs.
Oh.
I'll admit to that on camera.
Okay.
So wait, you said we I have nothing better to do with my time, but then why did you have
I
the
said
time?
you do have better things to do with your time.
And
You
you
got
have
a booster gun.
you have better things to do with your time than to rip somebody else's promotional items out of the ground.
Maybe that wasn't as fun. Maybe this wasn't as worth it as I thought it was gonna be.
Yep.
Like that's gonna be so funny.
Yeah, I don't really like being followed by people.
That is true.
Yeah, well then don't rip out our signs. Like, you don't condone that behavior. Would you like to apologize on camera?
I check out the statistics. Girl.
Ridiculous.
This is the retarded youth inside of our country, in my opinion. I'm going to make that word great again. That's actually not very Christian of me. I take that back. This is the youth of America whose minds have been infected by TikTok. That, for some reason, Charlie Kirk deserved to get killed. And TPUSA actually promoting what college is supposed to be, which is a free exchange of ideas, so that you can actually grow and learn more about the world, because all you know about life is TikTok and what you've learned from eating around your parents' dinner table, if they were even there for you. Instead, now, universities, you can't have those conversations. You can't have an opposing point of view because the left doesn't want to allow it. They want to take your signs. They want to rip them out of the ground. They want to do all of these things. And I'm tired of watching the left act in childish ways. There is absolutely zero call for this and no reason why this should be taking place. Now, that young lady even admitted to ripping the sign out of the ground and throwing it, and then wants to know why this guy doesn't have anything better to do than to follow him around, because what he's actually doing, in my opinion, is showing you guys, showing me, and showing the rest of the world where all of this crap culture is coming from. This crap culture is coming from our universities being indoctrinated with falsities, and then they're taking those out on the street and they're turning it into violent actions. Thoughts turn into words and words turn into actions. That's how Charlie Kirk ended up getting killed. That's why every time somebody's telling me that I'm about to get Charlie Kirked, or telling other people that they deserve to get Charlie Kirked, or laughing and celebrating and screaming about it for a man that literally just sat there, it blows my mind. I've actually heard that he was violent, that he incited violence, that he is a racist, that he is all of those things, and they have zero proof of it. And then, yes, let's sprinkle the icing on the cake and let's claim that Israel was behind the entire thing, because we haven't thrown enough conspiracy theories and falsities into the situation enough. I am over the crap, and whenever I see them, yeah, I'm going to make sure I get it out. Now, do you think that them ripping out that tiny little sign in Oklahoma had any impact on TPUSA's event? I don't know if you know this about Oklahoma, but it's pretty dang conservative. If you ever spent any time there, very, very conservative. Spent years of my life in that state. Love that state to death. Well, I don't know about love that state to death. Y'all got a lot of problems down in Oklahoma. Let's just be perfectly honest with it. All right? Y'all got a lot of problems in Oklahoma. But you want to talk about a place that's welcoming, loving of every single race and religion, as long as you are peaceful and loving in return? Oklahoma. It's a very good place to live. It's a very good place to raise a family. It's got beautiful countryside. It's a heartland of America. And even in the heartland of America, we have that taking place. We have radical idiots that are floating around that think that they can just rip signs out and do whatever they want. Huge Hugh is Sean. I don't know, man. Sean, we call them Florida speed bumps. Free the state of Florida in the house. Yeah, man, I'm with you on speed bumps. Those are absolutely speed bumps in my opinion, and they should be treated as such. Tony C says that barricade run gets a super chat from me in Redondo Beach. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, but thank you. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. Although I don't like getting paid because people are being violent and showing violence on the channel. It's not violence. It's quite literally people, in my opinion, defending themselves. But I still, nonetheless, feel the need to show that type of stuff because, yes, this is what's actually taking place inside of our country. We have Antifa that's going over and doing violent things and on and on and on. Now, what are the feds doing about all this crap? Bingo! Here you go. Department of Justice, United States Attorney's Office, District of Oregon, Portland, Oregon. October 16th, Brian Keith Capilio, Napal, 38, of Aloha, has been charged by criminal complaint with pointing a laser at U.S. Customs and Border Protection helicopter and possessing methamphetamine with intent to distribute. Now, this is my favorite part. According to court documents, on October 3rd, 2025, a CBP helicopter was struck by a green laser, causing it to abort its planned landing. The flight crew observed an individual walking near a residence and disappearing. Federal Bureau of Investigation identified the residence and on October 10th executed a federal search warrant at the residence. FBI special agents seized a laser from the bedroom of the suspect and found over 100 grams of meth and evidence of drug trafficking. Since June 13th, the United States Attorney's Office has charged 34 defendants. Say that again. Since June 13th, U.S. Attorney's Office has charged 34 defendants with federal crimes for offenses committed in connection with the ICE building, including assaulting federal officers, failure to comply, and depredation of government property. Laser strikes are a serious matter with potential deadly repercussions. They put the lives of the pilots and the public at risk. Aiming or pointing lasers at an aircraft is a federal crime and will be prosecuted, said Scott E. Bradford, U.S. Attorney for the District of Oregon. Not Oregon, Oregon. Suspect is currently in Washington County custody on a parole violation. Imagine that. So not only was he arrested for pointing the laser, not only was he arrested for all of the meth with intent to distribute, but he was also violating his parole. Surprise. Wonder how he violated his parole. Possibly by possessing meth? Good God, man. The case is being investigated by the FBI and is being prosecuted by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Oregon. A criminal complaint is only an accusation of a crime, and a defendant is presumed innocent unless and proven guilty. Absolutely freaking nuts. These are the people that are on the streets doing these different violent things. I don't want to use the term hate, but I think you guys can understand why we're having these issues and who the people are that are actually behind them. These are not regular human beings. Matter of fact, I remember specifically one time, got to give credit to them, one time seeing Portland police actually doing something proactive. They knew that a member inside the Antifa camp had a warrant. They went in and they actually effected the arrest on that individual that had the warrant. Kudos to them. Super proud of them. They actually did their job. Now, I think they were trying to do their job to the best of their ability, just nobody's allowing to do it. Spuddle99 becoming a true supporter. Good to have you, Spuddle. Thank you very much as we sit here going through this. Let me see what else I have for you guys as we continue to go. Oh, yep. And I think now is maybe the time to mention, and why not? Because this is going to be some stuff that I'm going to be going over today. Now is definitely the time to mention that Hamas and the peace deal is taking place over inside Gaza for all these free Palestine nut jobs. I don't know where they went and where they're at, or they're not even talking about it at this point. They haven't turned over all of the bodies they claim that they have. As a matter of fact, they're moving in heavy equipment and just digging and digging and digging. Look at that. That is their attempt to recover the bodies of the hostages. The ones that they said they had, that they tried to make a peace deal over, they don't have, and they don't know where they are. So Hamas is out on the streets digging and doing everything in their power, allegedly, to try to find them. They could just be randomly digging. Now, I've watched videos of Hamas shooting people, breaking legs, doing all sorts of things in the last couple of days as all of this is happening. Told you guys that they're rearming, that they're refitting, that they're doing their best in order to how do I want to say this? They're doing their best to set themselves up for success because they know that they're not going to surrender. They're actually calling to be members of the government, and they're being ticked off that Israel hasn't got those things set up yet. They want that new government coming in hot and fast, and unfortunately, they have not abided by the ceasefire agreement. They are refusing to disarm. They want to be members of the government. They're killing their own people. They're actually terrorizing their own people as we speak so that they can get enough weapons to go back and fight against Israel. Swamp Cleaner says they're smug. Wow, man. Why am I brain farting that word? I know that word. Condescension enrages me. That wasn't the appropriate pronunciation, and I hate myself really bad right now for not getting that out. Bronx Guy Illard coming in, gifting out $1, and I really appreciate that. Sputtle, like I said, becoming a brand new true supporter. I think that catches me up on Super Chats. I don't think I missed anything. Jay Wilder says, to everyone, people online with fake accounts talking bad about Charlie Kirk, you can use AI and find out who they are and report them to their jobs. Ooh. Kind of like that concept. You know, you do have a right to free speech inside of this country. You can say what you want, but you also have to live with the consequences of it, right? As a matter of fact, you can say whatever you want anywhere around the world. You just have to, again, understand that there's consequences that are going to come with it. And what's funny to me is that, you know, all of these people that had the balls to walk past me when I was on the ground and scream that or whisper in my ear, which I can barely hear, so they had to have been speaking just a little bit louder, but they're just quiet enough to where only I could hear, telling me that I'm going to get Charlie Kirked. Charlie Kirk me. Come at me. Show the world how violent you really are. Do it. Come at me. I am so sick and tired of people thinking that they can use violence to intimidate people. And I think what they don't realize, especially in the Charlie Kirk situation, and if you're a person of faith, you might look at it the same way that I do. It's sad what happened to Charlie. But I do believe that God used Charlie Kirk, and I do believe that God did not let his death go to waste. Nothing on this earth happens without God's permission. We know that when you read Job. That being said, when I see what happened to Charlie Kirk, I believe that God used that situation to bring light to this madness, because after all, it wasn't until that happened that people actually woke up and started paying attention. And for a while there, just for a little while, it's like 3 or 4 days, people were actually keeping their mouth shut, and people that opened their mouth talking trash, actually like exploiting Charlie's death and screaming about why they felt it was justified, were getting absolutely bashed, dimed out. People were losing their job and everything. But the problem with America, condemnation, that's a word. Condensation, that's another word. Yeah, dude, brain fart. Like, I know what he was trying to say, but whatever. But here we are just a couple weeks later, and people are already ranting and raging about it. It's no longer taboo for them to say that. It's now widely accepted online because they flooded social media with it, and people are saying it. Now, the right, we think it's absolutely abhorrent, as we should. But for some reason, the left thinks it's okay. I think it's okay to condemn a man to death and congratulate the person that ended up killing them and then turn it into something else. When I was on the streets of Portland, there was a guy that was walking around. I think I got it captured in one of my live streams, one of my first live streams. He was bragging about Charlie Kirk being dead. At least I hope the camera's on. Now I got to go back and look. This man was literally walking around, not only bragging about Charlie Kirk being killed, but literally going, yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, like that motion that I just made, in doing that in people's faces, like screaming it in people's faces. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that humanity has left the building. Like, just regular humanity has left the building. And for people that are allegedly fighting for everybody's rights so that they don't get kidnapped and taken somewhere else, why don't they feel that way about everybody else in this country that they don't agree with? Why don't they feel that those people also have a right? Why don't they feel that all of that That basically they're not allowed to do that crap. Why do they feel that they're allowed to go around, and scream that crap in people's faces? It is. It's demonic. It's evil. In my opinion, Portland has this massive freaking evil cloud hanging over top of it right now that absolutely needs to get taken care of. Go look at Sodom and Gomorrah. Let me know how that's going to turn out. It's not that hard. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me for another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. Again, daily devotionals will get back up here shortly. Just FYI, you guys, they're going to be coming. Like I said, I'm waiting on my church. I want them to be able to vet like the different devotionals and stuff like that to make sure I'm putting out good God-centric daily devotionals for you guys at the end of the show. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, peace, love, happiness, God bless. I'm out of here.